My sister borrowed my name to buy a house. I found out at the bank. I went to the bank to apply for a car loan. Routine errand. 20 minutes, I thought. The loan officer looked at my file, looked at me, and said, "You already have a mortgage." I had never bought a house in my life. The mortgage had been taken out 18 months earlier. The co-signer's name on the document was my sister. My sister and I had always been close, 3 years apart. She was the responsible one, always organized, always ahead of things. She had a good job, a long-term partner, and what looked from the outside like a stable life. I had no reason to suspect her of anything. That is exactly what made what she did so effective. She had access to things most people don't think to protect from family. She knew my social security number. I had given it to her years ago when I needed her to help me file taxes during a period I was living abroad. She knew my date of birth, my mother's maiden name, every security question answer anyone would ever use. She knew everything, and she used all of it. The mortgage was for a property 3 states away. A modest house, $187,000. The down payment had come from a personal loan, also in my name, that I had also never applied for. She had forged my signature on the application using a notary she had somehow convinced, or paid, to certify documents without my presence. The house had been rented out. She had been collecting rent for over a year. When I pulled my full credit history, I found the mortgage, the personal loan, and a home equity line of credit she had opened against the property 6 months after purchasing it. Total debt in my name, $276,000. I sat in my car in that bank parking lot for 2 hours before I could drive. I didn't call her. I called a lawyer. The lawyer told me to document everything before making contact because the moment she knew I was aware, documents could disappear. I spent the next 3 weeks quietly gathering everything: the mortgage records, the rental income deposits, which went to an account I had no knowledge of, the forged notary documents, the property tax records showing my name as owner. When I finally confronted her over video call, she cried. She said she had been desperate, that her credit was destroyed and she had no other options, that she planned to transfer everything to her name once she rebuilt her score, that she had never intended to hurt me. I want to be honest with you about how that conversation felt, because it didn't feel like talking to a criminal. It felt like talking to my sister, and that made it so much harder. During the legal process, her financial records were subpoenaed. What they revealed was that her credit had not been destroyed by bad luck. It had been destroyed by a pattern of the exact same behavior with 2 other people, a former colleague and an ex-partner, both of whom had not pursued charges. She had done this before. The desperation she described was real, but the story she told about why was not. She had a gambling problem that had been accumulating debt for years. The house was not an investment. It was a way to generate cash flow to service other debts she could not cover. My name was not chosen because she was desperate. It was chosen because I was the most trusting person in her life and the one least likely to check. She pled guilty to 2 counts of identity fraud and 1 count of forgery. The house was sold. Most of the debt was resolved through the legal process, though my credit took over a year to fully recover. She served 8 months of a 2-year sentence. We have not spoken since the guilty plea. I don't know if we ever will. I want to say something that might be uncomfortable. The people most likely to steal your identity are not strangers. They are people who already have your trust, and therefore already have your information. Check your credit report. Freeze it if you're not actively using it. And if anyone asks for your social security number, even family, ask yourself why they need it and whether there is a safer way to help. I hope this story stays with you, not as paranoia, but as awareness. Subscribe. Share this if someone you know needs to hear it. See you next time.